Hey friends, it's Hope and today I am here to do my October wrap up. I think I read about 7 books and I didn't love all of them, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started with this video. Okay, so it looks like per my Goodreads, the first 2 books that I read was Paper Princess by Erin Watt. This is book number 1 in the Royal series. And I also read Broken Prince, which is book number 2 in the Royal series. I did a 3 for 3 for book number 1, so if you guys watched that, you already know that I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. This is a new adult. With that said, it had a lot of angst and a lot of character building. This story revolves around a girl named Ella. She is orphaned and she's just trying to graduate high school and make it to college, which means that she has to do some pretty undesirable jobs. One day, a very well-dressed man named Callum Royal shows up claiming to be her now legal guardian. She's kind of given an incentive to living with him and his sons, and she ends up taking this deal because, like I said, she ultimately just wants to graduate high school and go to college, and this is her best option to do so. With any new adult contemporary romance, of course, you have some troubled characters and then characters who are eventually just going to find their way together and fall in love, and you all know if you read new adult that it's a roller coaster of a ride, and this book was nothing less of that. I really enjoyed the first book. Like I said, I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, but what I had an issue with was book number 2, where I felt like in book number 1 we saw our characters go through a ton of growth. We learned a lot about the family, and I really did enjoy the arc of the characters and just the overall story within book 1, but book number 2 I found so problematic. The way that these characters solve their problems through violence and intimidation and just how they talk down to people really just like turned me off to this series. I will read book number 3, but I wasn't rushing to the library to get it because book number 2, like I said, was just so off-putting. I just felt like these were not sensible ways to solve problems. The next book I read was Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Buxbaum. This is a YA contemporary romance book. Can you guys see what kind of mood I was in this month? This story follows our main character as she's forced to leave her comfort and her home in Chicago and move out to California. She's in a new area. She has no friends. She just feels very out of place. She takes solace in the fact that she has kind of like this secret little pen pal. They have a very unique relationship. The person knows who she is, but she does not know who the person is. So of course, throughout the book, you're trying to figure out who's the guy that's been secretly keeping an eye on her and has found her very interesting and is keeping up these conversations. I thought the story was very cute, but I really didn't like the relationship with her father. I also thought that the person who was IMing her was blatantly obvious. I didn't find it much of a surprise, so that's why I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read This Is How You Lose Her, which I found super compelling. It was written in prose, and it was the first book that I have read that it was written in that style, and what I loved most was how it portrayed a broken relationship and how a failed relationship can then carry on into future relationships. Now this book was a little bit deeper, it was a little bit darker, it definitely dealt with infidelity, broken families, and like I said, broken relationships, but I really did love the culture and heritage that was represented in this book, and I really loved how our main character saw where he went wrong and how he recognized how that mistake really played an integral part in all of his relationships moving forward. Also in this book, it was sort of broken up into like these shorter stories because as we're reading the book, it's actually like we are reading his manuscript because he ends up becoming an author, so I thought that was a really cool twist to it as well. I ended up rating this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Then after that, I read a book called Love Me Back by Merritt Terrace? I did not enjoy this book. I rated it a 2 out of 5 stars, which I kind of feel like is a little bit generous. I do believe this was a debut book for this author, and I love how it was written because it was also written in prose. I thought that was done beautifully, but what I did not like was any of the characters in this book. Our main character, she had not one redeemable quality. You had no hope for her throughout the whole entire book. I mean, of course you wanted things to go right, but she constantly made horrible and damaging choices every single chapter. Like I said, she was kind of a hopeless character. She brought me down. Every relationship she got into was very toxic. Yeah, as you can see, I just did not enjoy the books. And keeping on the trend of not really enjoying books, I then read Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. Oh my goodness. I was expecting to be over the moon about this book and love it so much because I adore Coho books. I actually went to her book signing tour and she was very lovely to meet in person. She's hilarious. She's sarcastic. She's so down to earth. She signed the book and I really wanted to read it like right there, but I knew how emotional I get and how invested I get when I read her books, so I saved it for a little later on. And let me tell you, if you guys have seen my video where I vlogged my reading experience throughout the book, I did not cry once. I really felt zero emotion for any of the characters and I just felt like the ending was blah. This story is just a lot different than what she typically writes, which I am personally okay with, but what I'm not okay with is when you write mediocre characters. Honestly, I read this book like 2 weeks ago and I vaguely remember anything about them other than the fact that they were very quirky, and that was really the only good characteristic I can think of. I thought that Colleen Hoover did a really great job with bringing up how secrets, especially in families, can be very damaging. I thought that was done very well, but everything else, I thought it was stupid. I had no idea where the story was going. I ended up rating this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I'm so sad I did not like this book. Lastly, I read When Dimple Met Rishi, and I was excited for this book because it's kind of been hyped all over BookTube, and after reading Without Merit, I just needed something a little bit more light and fluffy, so I picked this one up. I ended up rating this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a very cute YA contemporary. I really loved Rishi as a character. I wanted to jump through the book and hug him. Dimple kind of had to grow on me. I thought she was a little abrasive and a little harsh at first, but like I said, she grew on me. For those of you who don't know what this book is all about, we follow our main character, Dimple. She is a strong-headed woman. She's independent. She wants to focus on graduating high school. She really wants to attend the summer program where she can hopefully win so she can collaborate with a person she really looks up to. But of course, we have to have something that's going to interfere, and that's where Rishi steps in. But unlike Rishi, he is going to follow what his parents want him to do, which is try and get into an arranged marriage with Dimple. But what makes this story so great is that Rishi then goes to the summer camp to like lock down this relationship, and Dimple has no idea that he's coming. So when they meet, it's a very genuine experience. I felt like I was right there with them, and of course the story then follows their relationship and what ends up happening since Dimple is like, but Rishi was like, please. Alright friends, well those are the books that I read in the month of October. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be reading in the month of November. Leave me suggestions down below in the comments section. Help a girl out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and like always, I'm sure I will see you soon. Bye.